Hey, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I've brought a very special guest with me. You know, it was too much. You know, Hades is not here to counterbalance the absolute value that this man was bringing to SSG. You boys done him dirty out there.
Yeah, it was a really solid game. I thought they were playing decently. I can't talk with production talking because I don't think he realizes he's not muted in my ear right now.
Oh, man. No, he knows. He knows. That's a little Blake Spice for you guys.
No, he didn't know. He just let me know. But yeah, I thought that was a that was a really solid game. I think from my team,
me and you.
Yes, yeah, fantastic play for them on map 1. I think they really turned it around from being down 3-0.
Yeah.
But I think we kind of figured out the draft as the game was going on, and I think it showed.
It kind of looked that way from where we were sitting as well. Even taking some risks as well. Sadak plays the Ruckus. SSG get the fat W over Kanga Esports. But now it's time for Navi versus Penta. I mean, Navi, a team everyone's very scared of right now. Not first seed in this event, but through the grapevine, it sometimes feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, well, look at their last performance versus NIP. You know, it's a game that started super dominant, then it almost looked like NIP switched drafts to save face. You know, from the outside looking in, Bonker, Lex, different stuff like that.
That's my opinion.
So, yeah, exactly. You look at that. You say the second seed is probably the scariest one coming into this tournament. You know, especially players like Phoenix just making so much room for their DPSs.
It's such a. I love the parallels between NIP and Navi. They're so good at completely like polar opposite different styles. NIP is just blinders on, aggression, get in your face, and punch you in the mouth. Navi like to play a little bit more passive, like to slow things down, play the objective for as long as humanly possible, oftentimes winning games with less damage, negative KDs, and it's just like a very, very dirty win. Like, they do all the little things right to be able to get those Ws. Phoenix is a big part of that. You guys attempted to allow Makoa and Atlas to go to Phoenix and learned your lessons, I think, appropriately.
Yeah, like I said before, it's kind of a coin flip, and against a player like Phoenix, that is a loaded coin, if those even do exist laying on one side. You know, it's really hard to get past his power.
Makes his own
classes.
luck.
Yeah, and on the other side of the tank, conversation, Lazy has, I mean, he shifted to this class. It's almost been a year now, and he's really put his foot down. I think as one of the best, if not the best, main tank in the business. You know, he's shown flexibility. He's shown that he can draw pretty pictures while he's aiming because of his massively high sensitivity. But I mean, for a team that focuses the objective as much as Navi does, his role is super important, and he plays his life and does the damage that he really needs to.
He is integral. He is the anchor to that Navi heart and soul strategy of play the damn point, Lazy. Survive as long as you can. Give us as much time as possible. Spunky's obviously a big part of that as well. But one thing that I always commend, point tanks in general, but Lazy at the forefront of the conversation, is that transitioning off of the objective to know when it's time to get aggressive and to do damage with that barrack or that Inara. And he's not a stranger to the top damage position if he can get himself a barrack. So that's a tough instinct. That's tough to teach, and I think Rashao does a good job of it as well.
It's really a big part of communication, because your default is going to be sit on the point, capture the point. But if your off tank is saying, go, I'm pinching, we need pressure, being able to clean up off of that, that's really where the mental game comes in. That's why you see these top tanks on these top teams with the best communication are the ones that do that the best. For
sure, guys. Well, enough from us. Let's get down to the booth and hear some thoughts with the man himself. Rain Day and Phoenix standing by.
That's what we play for. Hey, guys, we were just joking around how Phoenix is unfortunately the sacrifice for the interview. None of these guys ever want to talk to us. But, Phoenix, you are always chosen. How does it feel to be the chosen one?
I mean, yeah, what can I say? If my team chooses me, then I will step up to the plate every time.
I feel like that is a bigger metaphor than what is actually occurring, although it's just this. In-game, a lot of times your team chooses you to make some big plays for them as well. So what kind of weight do you feel on your shoulders heading into this matchup? Obviously, it's a team you guys know, great players on the other side. What's your thoughts going into this?
I think it's going to be a fun set because we do scrim each other a lot, whether it's on bad servers or not in Europe. At least we get the scrim. So I'm glad that they are still in Europe. So when we are back home, we get some practice, and now we can see how it goes on stage.
Listen, we love Mike sitting in the corner. We already talked about you. He's smiling, waving. You got your penguin over there. But it's a full Navi, and that is something that has been so hard to find throughout the season. What is the impact that hopefully you guys can have in this tournament? Do you expect now that the full roster's here, this is yours to lose, essentially?
If we start off strong here, then definitely this is our tournament to win.
All right, well, strong statement here from Phoenix. You can go back and sit down now. Congratulations on just accepting the interview. We'll go ahead and talk to Penta in just a sec.
Penta have proven themselves to be a very scary team, but it's these types of matchups that really put into perspective, how good these Premier League teams can be. You look at what Penta did to that play-in bracket and potentially what might happen to them here against Na'Vi. I mean, what NIP did to Sour Team was really a statement win. I think Na'Vi, if you want to be the favorite to win this tournament, come out and look like the favorite to win this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they will, personally. If they were against any other team, maybe they could get caught off guard by a draft. But, I mean, as we saw in the last PML-PPL matchup, NIP kind of looked like they had Sour Team figured out, and I have a feeling that's going to be pretty much the same thing across the board this game.
Definitely. Penta, a very scary team with maybe not as much proven in the past, but I think with more to prove in this matchup in particular. Na'Vi never underestimate anyone. That's really one of their strengths, I think. They never really, say, we're going to steamroll this opponent and it's going to be is what it is. They come from like the third place territory in their origin story, so they know how to lose, and that has led to them knowing how to win as hard and as consistently as they do. A man with some PPL experience, though, he's calling for the 3-0 over Na'Vi. Expectations, I think, appropriately managed here for Penta. He probably won't be running over Na'Vi 15-0 on a Bomb King. But I do expect a lot from him, to be honest. I think he has to be a big part of whatever type of success Penta are looking for against Na'Vi today.
I mean, all of them need to be clicking really, really well, Just when they click like this, it's not really not going to look at this when they're clicking on all cylinders, but they need to really find the holes in what Na'Vi does. I know Simsley was saying before that Na'Vi kind of play a flexible style, in his opinion. I know they play more controlled, but that can shift, I think, into a more aggressive style.
Yeah.
Way easier than going hyper aggro can become control. So it's going to have to be a lot on if they figure out what Na'Vi's going to do in the draft and if they can adapt to their own draft.
Xentra got some good time, I think, boot camp with the squad.
Yes.
Has looked good so far. But Point Tanks, they butter their bread in these tougher matchups. And, well, that's not the most confident body language I've ever seen in my life. But, his job was easy in that play-in bracket. His job becomes much more difficult against this Na'Vi squad, having to go against a world-class Point Tank like Lazy, out-surviving him on the objective, doing that very delicate dance that relies so much, in my opinion, on instinct, on experience, on having been there before and done that thing. Not a lot of that can be said for Xentra. How have you thought about this guy so far in the tournament?
I mean, I thought he's looked good. I mean, we know he has previous experience playing with these guys before, but this is going to be a massive, massive test for him. I mean, I'm sure they've scrimmed Na'Vi, but that was probably before Xentra was with them, considering he's a fill-in for Ovim. And Na'Vi's one of the hardest teams to play Point Tank against because of that massive objective focus they have,
Stacking up against Lazy is probably too much to put on the poor kid in his first day here in the big bracket. How do you think, real quick, before we head down to the interview, can he fill these shoes that Ovim left?
I think he can, just with the experience he has, and it's not like he's new to the role. I think he can, from what I saw yesterday.
Okay, guys, well, let's get it down and hear what Penta are expecting from this set with Na'Vi.
Hello, welcome. We are now across the pond. It took me a long time to get over here, but I found a very unique person to talk to. However, very similar to the person we talked to like all day yesterday as well. Simsy, how are you feeling, man? It's Na'Vi. I mean, what else can you say about it? They're one of the best teams in the world.
They're scary.
They are scary. Any ways to follow up on that?
I think they're a very scary team. Either way, like we could have played against NIP or Na'Vi. Both are really strong, as I mentioned yesterday. I think, hopefully, that the set today will be a 3-2 for us. Ooh. But they are a scary team, so it will be a close set, nevertheless.
Let me dig deeper into the scary. What is so scary about them? And now that they have their full roster, feel free to point anybody out. What are you worried about the most in your matchup against them?
Well, I could definitely say today is going to be Creatives versus me, the entire match. I think we're going to be 1v1ing each other. And depending on who comes out on top of that, those 1v1s will prompt the victory, pretty much. And I think it's easy enough and said, because I think the scariest player is Phoenix on that roster, because he just knows how to make so much space. Right? His tank play is so scary, just simply because he does so much. It's so difficult to deal with anything he plays. It's like Digger Dogs,
that same level of play. It's just so hard to do it. Simsy, we want to wish you the best. We're going to get this game started. Don't want to take too much time away. But as he said himself, 2 LAN MVPs, 1 here at the building, 1 at HRX going to be going up. And the winner will decide who wins these sets. Let's send it back to the desk. Get ready to go.
Guys, Na'Vi versus Penta is not going to be an easy road for Penta. Na'Vi not wanting to underestimate some of these players either. I think there's really something there. I like the way Simslow actually summed that up. Creatives versus him. Now, feel free to disagree, but at times, Mutu feels like he can play at a higher level than Creatives, but can also fall very much below him. I feel like Creatives is that more consistent performer, and he's really going to show up on every single day and has been having a good last couple of weeks.
I agree that, but I think he's also shown
both in-game and just to the studio period to play his games.
He has showed up.
Can't disagree with that.
He's definitely showed up more than Mutu. No, I'm agreeing, but I'm saying that I think Creatives also does have that pop-off potential, even with the consistency. I think he definitely has days that are above what Mutu has shown at one of his peaks, but his floor is way more consistent, I think, than his. And I think it actually has to do with the fact that he talks more than Mutu. When you're communicating a little less, it's harder for your plays to all work out, all seem like they're synergizing. If you make a call, your team partially follows up, it's going to look better.
Bright Marsh is the first map. Ice Mine's gone. Frog Isle, Ghost, Frozen Guard, Out of My Face, Timber Mill. Hell nah. Penta bans out. The goofy stuff here in the first map will, of course, be Bright Marsh Na'Vi with the first pick. And to kind of harp on that communication point that you just made a little bit more, who's like the quietest person on your team that you sort of listen to in game? Or does everyone, I mean, obviously, I think everyone has a little bit of a skewed perspective on your team because they're Portuguese, right? English isn't their native language. They're not talking a ton in the tongue that we are going to be understanding. But amongst each other, are they all relatively, free-flowing, communicative?
Yeah, on practice, sometimes it's a little less, but on match day, it's a very, very active communication environment. I think. Na'Vi clearly showing that they have definitely played against Penta before. I think banning out Pip from Simslu, something that he has shown a lot of proficiency on through PML.
Absolutely, and I think Na'Vi even having to really put creatives there, but I feel like that happened because Tenor, right? If it's almost like Eevee. It's like everyone needed to have an Eevee player because she was just so strong, and some teams, yours included, just abusing people with the character. And then it happened with Pip. It's like NIP, just abusing people with this Pip, and if you don't find a way to deal with it, and I would say Na'Vi, it's not their first choice. Creatives would much rather be on Eevee if given the choice with a gun to his head, and it's an ice staff this time around. They will get Eevee and they will get Barrack. Na'Vi off to a good start.
I don't think part of it is just like not knowing how to counter it. I think it's just not wanting to play around it. Like,
it's not their first choice.
Yeah, maybe you counter it, you win like Scrim 4-3, and you're like, wow, that sucked. Can we never play against that again,
Pip's a pain in the ass, dude.
Yeah, with Moxie 5 too. Thank the Lord that is, going down to 30% because you're like, oh, we got it.
Just kidding, Lamau.
Just kidding. XD, unironically, :3 XD from this Pip as he Moxie 5 weightless, 30% DRs away from the fight.
Here's a question for you. Genos picked up alongside Inara. Is this primarily to not only take away from Barrack Eevee, but to get your Cassie and Maeve with a little bit of bonus damage, and you're just okay holding that L, pairing that with Inara?
I mean, some people think it's enough. Some teams do think it's enough. I mean, I believe, I want to say Envy is one of the teams that was doing that a bit during Genos' peak. And
here's the logic. I mean, Genos does exactly the same amount of healing to everyone, except for an Earthen Guarding Inara.
Yeah.
She has the healing amp. She is going to be getting the most healing, and she is kind of the, at base, tankiest, so...
It does make sense.
Yeah, well,
and she does a lot of damage, too.
There's logic there, I think, to defend that stance.
You've seen some point fights where if the fight's kind of slow, you're like, wow, that Inara has 10,000 more damage than everybody else. She's been shooting a Nando this entire time.
If anything else, you have to still look at the damage. Yes, Barrack, I think, has one of the most consistent frontline weapons to pair with Luminary, and has a decent amount of mitigation to look after himself. Ashe is picked 10th, dead last for Penta. I gotta say, Na'Vi never really do anything too spicy in the draft, man. They sort of they pick what they pick and they beat you with it.
It's a European thing, I think. Historically, they've been kind of
what's coming.
Well,
but
they have their crazy
it.
Random pocket picks, but a lot of the time, I remember thinking of them as a kind of a flow charty draft. But I think Penta's is kind of surprising with the way they did it. I think they win the tank fight actually here, draft wise.
Alrighty, Kresnik has at least part of the draft going to Penta. Let's see if they can back it up in game. Down to your casters for Na'Vi v Penta.
Great throw, Nick, but you forgot the most essential name we refer to ourselves as. Win in a group in
One
this
of us
booth.
has to be Dave.
One of us has to be Dave.
Yeah, no.
And then, of course, we are the party boys as well. And we're now the blue boys. Wearing a little bit of blue, a little bit of light blue, a little bit of violet. That means that we are in sync. That means that this game is going to be great. That means that this music is going to come in right about now. And Bright Marsh is going to be the map where we start our third set of the day. Natus Vincere. A lot to do against a team in the minor league that's not playing so minor. Over the last couple of days, they have proven to be the best out of the play-in bracket core.
And this is something I said earlier with NIP versus Sour Team, but when you go back to Europe, if you're Na'Vi or NIP, you don't have a home here, so you go back. There are only a couple teams you really can scrim.
Yeah.
Penta's one of them. These guys have definitely played each other several times this split. Whether or not it's competitive, you can kind of throw that off the board. It's all going to matter because that means they're going to know each other pretty in depth. They know what strategy you're going for, what picks you like, and what you prefer, and how you try to win. So Penta, I want to say it's an uphill battle no matter what, but at least they have that experience.
And Arrays finds creatives. That is not what they would have wanted. Na'Vi are used to setting the pace, and in many ways, they still have, and that's what makes them so good. They'll lose on one front, win on another, so you always have to keep readjusting, and now they've won the point fight up to 45%. It's Penta's turn to stand. Battle Shout there for 2, and it's Mutu moving in and the withdraw stealth. But it's actually an unfortunate commander's grab. Cruncy gets a little bit of help there from the window and the wall to be able to actually avoid some of the planet damage and force Mutu in a bad spot. He should die here.
I mean, Arrays is doing whatever he can. They're not going to be able to get him because of the stealth, but it's not going to matter. He gets picked up by Cruncy. Spunky now going to get burned down. Arrays and Cruncy are playing this perfectly.
Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen. We told you they weren't playing poorly. That was a little bit of an understatement. They come out swinging. They're going to take .1 against Natus Vincere.
I don't think I've ever seen any team do this to Na'Vi.
Has anyone ever taken a point off of Na'Vi? Oh my God.
They have, but never this convincingly.
It was
I
very
think the biggest thing is you get that 45%, like Na'Vi do the Na'Vi thing, which is cool. We might have lost this first engagement, but we still got 50% on the point. We're happy. And then they just lose outright. Like, there was no coming back. There was no fight there. It didn't feel like any pressure. Maybe you're looking at creatives to potentially warm up or Mutu to start hitting some shots, but with Arrays playing the way he is right now, you have to start hitting that stride fast.
And that's the problem. If you have someone outside of Simsaloo who is performing at a Simsaloo level, it's going to be scary. And Phoenix, they acknowledged him, at least Simsy did, as the best player on Na'Vi, the most dangerous, so to speak, because he always makes great decisions on such powerful champions. They draft often for him. He's in the off-tank role, so he'll get his cons, he'll get his atlases when they become available. 1 minute and 30 now on the point. And they have done a good job zoning out thus far.
We're going to have to see what Simsy's mom puts in those cookies.
Absolutely.
Because whatever these guys are eating, it is definitely
Did they have the cookies already? Has that been confirmed? Simsy's mom. Can we get an answer on that?
I think we're going to have
She's
to
not in comms.
Not in comms.
What is this? Production?
A little bit wide there, bulk up for the through time and space. But it's not going to matter because Cruncy's still going to hit the gas pedal, still in the back line, still causing a ruckus. Well, he might get tossed around a little bit. I've never seen someone go over the wall that way.
Hey.
He's still causing disruption.
Still creating new paths as well. Phoenix on the con doing a great job of setting things up, and that means that he is going to allow his team to at least buy some time. But all the while, Simsy in the back line, he's one LAN MVP going up against another. Lazy has no chance against a Cat Burglar Mave once he's used most of his cooldowns. Use it. That's a nice, I feel like I'm in Old English right now. Half thy cooldown's been used, young man. And Simsy, he certainly has found himself, whether in Old English, New English, or in America, in the perfect spot to do some damage for Penta.
I mean, at this rate, they're looking to be able to close this out. They've used a couple of ults to be able to close this through, which is big on the side of Penta, but even bigger for Na'Vi, who have 5 burning. They're going to drop the dome shield. That's a good stun to be able to keep things rolling.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good because it also catches the cooldown, but Phoenix is able to get into the dome shield, which is what he was using that mobility for. Battle Shout here for multiple members. Penta are very low, but there's a lot of them. So if they can manage this, it'll be impressive. Volka's got to keep a lot of targets healed up. Commander's grab will secure the defense.
And it's just, I want to say this is going to be one of those things. Penta now have played 2 days on LAN, whereas Na'Vi, as much as they've played this split,
Good point.
they are still coming in. Like, today was the first day that you see them in the practice booths. Today's the first day you get to see them in the actual booths. So I'm wondering if they can prolong this. 1-1 is probably the best bet, not just because they have 4 ults coming into it, but you also get to play around with the, okay, we're feeling ourselves again. Like, we hit our stride. We are back where we belong.
Yeah.
And so watch Mutu, I think, this round more than the last round. Last round was, well, 3-2-2. It was very quiet. He got most of those during the defense. This round, him and Creatives have to swing and do a different performance, or else Krentz is going to run through you again.
Pretty amazing. 4-0. That's a great start for Ashe. And to think that no one on Natus Vincere could get a kill on Ashe, that is going to be a very tall task if they cannot complete that simple assignment. Phoenix going to the left side. He's so good with the overpower, so threatening. And that's why he's going to hold this right side. He's just going to take as much space as he can. He will start moving up there because he knows he's got the ultimate tool. And I think he uses it, and he does not find anyone. He gets a big miss, and that is a big problem for Na'Vi.
Well, they're doing whatever they can, though. Heat Haze has been popped, and that's at least one kill on Cruncy that they haven't been able to find in a round. They get rid of Xintra, and they can move into the objective. Nice shots!
And that's big time. Mutu's done a great job talking about that soft surround. It's more of a heavy surround here. Very, very heavy indeed. Natus Vincere missed the overpower, but they get what they came for. It's the point, it's control, and it's Bolka swan diving into the lake a little bit before the fourth yet again.
Just drifting slowly to his demise. Something that you can only bear but watch happen as it comes through. There's going to be it's 90% right now here for Na'Vi as they hold on to it, but Penta aren't giving this one up. They're looking to push out.
No, it's great, and that was a great push in from Simsy because it's such a hard target to track. Unlike the Cassie, who would have probably been easy bait for a commander's grab for the Khan, Phoenix really has to choose his targets, and it's very hard to track. He does the hop thing, but it's not enough. It's 4 down on Na'Vi. It's just lazy. Oh my goodness, Gore, in an instant, they all go down. Penta are playing some incredible Paladins.
And that comes down again to the Mave. The Midnight gets popped, you go in, you kill off Lazy first, and then it's stagger kill, stagger kill, stagger kill. Like, everyone's respawning now. Cool. It's a little bit too late. You don't have anyone. A good dismount, good aggression afterward from Penta as well to make sure Lazy had literally no chance of getting back. I think time was still against him, but there was no way to touch down.
And let's take a look at these KDs because I'm impressed here. I'm impressed with a lot of different things. Erase being one of them, 5-3 in a big-time game, but Cruncy was 6-1, 7-1 now, and 6-2, 7-2 now for Simsy. It's like the more I say their names, the more kills they get. Penta are absolutely on fire in map 1, and Natus Vincere, you have to say, are on the back foot now.
I mean, this is an awkward area. I don't think I've seen Phoenix have to stall in his base this long for anything. He's going to come out, but I mean, this is good. Not only, like you said earlier, Simsalud playing at the level that we've seen him play at pretty much consistently this entire weekend. But with Arrays hitting the way he is, with the team playing, Cruncy specifically as well, playing out of his mind right now, they are locking this down. Like, Brightmarsh is not looking like a done deal, but
watch Bolka here.
Definitely in one side.
This is big, Gore. Absolutely not a done deal. I totally agree with what you're saying. Seismic Crash could be the setup. He's going for it! He's not going to hit a big slither from Spunky. He can't catch the vet just that easy, but he will catch at least one. Phoenix, a couple of daggers to the face. He's not going to get back up for that for another couple of seconds. And now it's Natus Vincere fighting, short-handed, trying to hold down a push that is getting increasingly harder to hold. The sword comes through and must be an ice block, and it will be a couple of kills to delay the inevitable, but 60 seconds on the clock, that's scary, because they're only 5% of the way before this payload is pushed.
I'd love to take a peek at the slash lines as of right now, because I feel like a lot of what, Na'Vi have been doing, it's been on the back of Phoenix, it's been on the back of Mutu. Lazy's not really having a crazy game, but you don't expect him to. But Creatives is 2-5.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, is like he's just not doing anything really on this EV. There's some good shots, there's a little bit of good control, but he is not finding the kills he needs to. He's not getting into the back line. He's definitely not taking care of this Mave.
Well, the problem is the Mave is winning the battle, and Simsalud said it himself in the interview. He said, if I win against Creatives, we're going to do well. And look at this. Look at this. Cruncy, get out of town. This guy's popping off, as well as Bolka, as well as Simsy. He's won every single important trade in this game, and now they're 3-1 up against Na'Vi. It's something we saw earlier in SSG, Gore. I liken it to Ares playing the way that he did, but Rays, however, started a day early, 17-4 after a few rounds on Serpent Beach yesterday with that Leon Torvald combo. He's doing some amazing stuff in this tournament.
I mean, all I can think of right now, and I know it was yesterday, I can't remember if it was Dave or who said it, and if it was on the desk or not, but the biggest thing for Penta this last 2 days has been no one really mentioning Ovum. Like, I think we've said his name now. This is like the third time he's come up in conversation. And that says something about Xintra and the way he's playing, but that says something about the team in general, how well practiced they are together and how well they play. Because Ovum is absolutely a boost to this team. And if you can imagine that, this team playing better than they are right now,
and on Bright
that's
Marsh,
ridiculous.
get out of here. This is a 4-0 on Bright Marsh if Bobum is around. That man doesn't ever lose a game on this. I don't care who's the opposition. He can buy Na'Vi and an IP. Put 10 players on there. He's not losing Bright Marsh. Simsy on an 11 streak. Are you kidding me? Double kill. Simsy trades with the HRX MVP and says, I've got an MVP too, buddy. Xendra picks up the last kill, and Penta in the driver's seat. All they've got to do is zone now here, and game one is theirs.
I think I figured out my favorite thing to watch outside of a good EV player. It's a good EV player against an EV. Whenever they're playing that, like, I know where you blinked from, I know where you're blinking to. I'm going to hit this shot, and this shot again. Whether or not you kill me doesn't matter. I just showed you up.
Watch out, here's the Hehe. Never count Mutu out as well, but boy, oh boy, Phoenix drops, and that's not a good sign. Simsy picks up yet another kill on an incredible start. Bolko with another one. It's a through time and space that gets the find. Erases Creatives. I am shocked. 4-1, game one, and Penta won.
I'm kind of at a loss for words. This was not how I expected this. Now, this is one of those sets that could go 5 games.
Who are they looking at?
But if it keeps going like that, this might be a 3-game set. Like, that was clean, and I don't think Na'Vi were expecting it. I don't think anybody was really expecting it. Penta played well, but that was something different.
The only person looking to talk right now is Phoenix. That's why he's such a huge part of this team. There are a lot of personalities here. Creatives and Mutu are on the quieter side. So is Spunky, but he's got experience and he's got an opinion. Lazy, obviously, great personality, but can trade based on the win, depending on whether he's very confident and talking a lot or whether he's very in his head and a little bit nervous here. Land nerves have always been something that has plagued him, and he's been able to perform throughout it, but it's not like it's not a factor. We have to talk about it. And I think right now, Penta coming out that strong, that's got to put them in a weird spot.
I mean, you want to talk about land nerves, like, again, 2 days of play where they've been able to kind of blast that out. I love the way Crunchy's playing that. Like, that, the way they play that map just felt very good, being able to kind of hold apartments, being able to push people out. And Arrays having such a big early game, Simsaloo having such a big late game, like they traded the torch, they passed it exactly when they needed to.
It's pretty impressive stuff here. Penta take game one here against Na'Vi. Let's send it back to the desk. Get ready for game two.
Hell of a lot to unpack there, my man. I mean, the minor league team comes in, beats Na'Vi, what we were talking about to be one of the favorites of this event. You initially gave the front line favoritism to Penta. So that means the question mark and who needed to step up was the backline. Arrays, Simsaloo. I think, frankly, Cassie is probably Arrays' best character. For my money, Simsaloo plays a lot of different stuff. Talked about how he had to win a lot of those 1v1s with creatives. And at 13-3, you have to say he did it.
Yeah, absolutely. Simsaloo played fantastic. I mean, both DPSs played fantastic. I think the tanks did make a lot of space. I mean, Crunchy, 9-4.
Yeah, look at him go.
Yeah, putting on a lot of pressure onto Na'Vi. And actually, I think originally I said that they definitely had the better tank line, but I think actually getting the EV Shaw for Na'Vi might not have been the best, because putting Mutu on the Sha Lin, I think creative
this early too.
Better.
You know, Sha Lin is in the pool. It's in the cards for Na'Vi, but this early, I don't know. I mean, the light that we've sort of discovered about Sha Lin is anti-flank pressure. It's pretty good for that.
Maeve can disengage very easily, though, with the damage reduction. And Simsaloo chose his fights really, really well, I think. I mean, look at this reaction. Even though he traded there, that's basically 3 kills for him, completely equalizing, flipping the fight. That was still phenomenal from Penta.
Crunchy.
This is a statement.
It absolutely is.
It's a huge statement for them.
And the next thing I want to talk about is best of 5.
Yes.
Not a best of 7. Same kind of situation that was brewing between Kanga and you guys. Penta have stolen away Na'Vi's map. If they can just win their map, I think there's a good chance they get one of the next 3, man, and be able to potentially claim this. Na'Vi have got to turn up immediately. There is no time to flounder around in these best of 5s. You got to come ready.
Yeah, this is fantastic for Penta, too. They're showing that the land nerves aren't really affecting them, because they've been, I mean, at least in the game lobby.
It's a pretty experienced, roster.
Yeah, and plus, in the game lobby, I mean, they've been here before. When Na'Vi and Nip go home, they can only scrim each other, and if they play each other, they have to scrim Penta. They have to scrim Sour Team. It's not like this is the first time they're ever playing against this roster. They've been playing for years, and clearly the land's not affecting them. If anything, it's making them even better.
The next thing that I'm worried about affecting Na'Vi a lot is just the weight of what this would mean. The weight of how a loss to Penta team in the first round of the MSI bracket would look on them. I mean, that is just, especially given how they capstoned their season this is not how you would want to see it go if you're a Na'Vi fan or a Na'Vi player for that matter.
Especially if you're a Na'Vi player, let's be honest.
Genos banned, Cassie banned, Makoa, and Atlas. So a Torvald is open for Penta. Do they grab it?
I think they
follow me in.
Ash actually instead.
That was
Ash,
10th pick last time.
It was, but this is a very different map. Bazaar, there's a lot of ground you can cover on top with Ash or under. She could just make such fast rotations and pushes, especially since a lot of teams kind of clump up.
Shot?
Maybe that's a preference thing. Some teams prefer battering, some teams prefer slug. We know Sadak picks slug shot on a ton of maps, but a lot of teams kind of clump up in the corners on this map, and even if your Ash starts on the wrong side, you can say, well, I'll be there in 2 seconds. I can help my team, but want to be aggressive, Ash can do it from anywhere. Also, one kind of unspoken thing, I don't remember if I mentioned this yesterday. You know those little planters that like hang over the upper hallways on the side of the point?
Okay, I follow.
There's a lot of chances to hit them with your head on Ash, so almost anywhere that you're pushing on the fight, on the upper ground, you can have a fast ult. And that is really, really influential because there's so many ways you can get CC'd, especially if you're going to be playing against a Torv.
Yeah, it's a snap stun. If Ash has to complete that whole animation, people roll out of the way, slide out of the way. A lot's open here. Na'Vi are taking their time. Drafting is so important. Khan is still open, but say what you will about the stats in the past. Today has been Ash's day over Khan. I think people are leaving Khan on the table. They're taking Ash. Frankly, Na'Vi recognizing the strength of this Torvald Leon comp, if not for them, what Penta have already proven able to do with. I mean, they had a light show of a performance with this pick, this duo on Serpent Beach.
I'm not too surprised that they didn't pick up the Khan, actually, because I think if they go Torv Khan, their comp is so heavily countered by Wrecker. So if they end up with like a Vivian or something that just gets Wrecker, their Khan really can't push.
Yeah, it's a good time to bring up, though. I mean, Ash is technically a shielding front line as well, but does she just lean heavily? Does she have enough damage reduction and damage immunity with her ultimate?
With the battering ram, yeah.
To not be like turbo countered by Vivian?
Also, you can play corners a lot better than most tanks because you're constantly lifestealing and you can kind of just shoot the floor even if they're further away. Her sustain isn't as dependent on her shield, and I think that's also why Penta took Inara away. Because if Na'Vi wanted to go Inara Torv,
do they go Ying here to stay away from crazy amounts of CC affecting their composition?
That's why you pick Ying over Damba in CC heavy compositions.
That way Resilience doesn't counter out Assert Dominance and Seismic Crash and Dread Serpent. You at least can still get some value from Illusory Rift later on into the game. Khan will come through 7th overall for Na'Vi.
These are teams that this is the kind of draft of teams that know each other. You know, they're thinking, well, I think they'll pick Torv. I think they'll avoid Khan. We can wait.
This is what happens, right? You get a couple steps ahead of each other, and then that's why we got this weird ass draft coming through with Ash first, Khan 7th, Maeve over Damba, Genos is banned, Cassie's banned, Vivian Maeve is the selection to round things out against the double shielding composition from Na'Vi.
Really good DPS duo, I think, for this map. The Midnight lets you get so aggressive, especially with the Ash being able to bash across point. You don't know when she's coming in, you don't know where she's coming from. She can also rotate above the gates a little bit more fluidly than Eevee sometimes. And just the long-range poke on a map that is so wide is really, really strong.
Well, last selections here. Waiting to see what Na'Vi will go with. Looking like they need something for that man right there. If it's a Sha Lin again, I don't know. A lot of times experienced teams... Ooh, little spice. There's some merits here. Mike throwing out the fist bumps. Sometimes it takes a big man to say, I just fed on this, but it's still the right pick for this situation. He does not go back to the Sha Lin, however, so that point is null. Kinessa, thoughts on this map or Bazaar?
Interesting little pocket pick. One thing is you can blink through the gates. So you can do like a really dummy aggressive play behind them and then just blink out through their gate when other DPSs wouldn't be able to get out.
Through the enemy gates without them being open?
Yeah, because you can shoot through the gates so the portal can go through.
Cheeky here.
Wouldn't even be surprised to see some repo.
And we've seen how, man, just having somebody to bypass those gates can be very impactful on Bazaar. Penta steal away game 1. They steal away Na'Vi's map pick. If they grab this one, man, I'm actually feeling pretty good about Penta being able to close this one out in the next 3. Let's get it down to the casters and see what they got.
What do we got? Right now we got Penta, and I think that's the biggest thing coming into this one. Kinessa on Bazaar, though, is something I'm not sure I've seen, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and it seems like Na'Vi, this is one of those pocket strats, I guess is the best way to word it, that will come through, and it's either going to work wonderfully or it's going to fail fabulously.
You know, I think when you look at it, there's so many different ways that these two teams can try to, let me really phrase this, fake each other out while still being conservative.
Yeah.
Because Europeans and Paladins are very traditionally conservative as far as where they will go out on a limb, you know, but they will go on a limb at times. And when you have a scrim partner, you're trying to show them something maybe they weren't prepared for, maybe catch them off guard. Right there, Mutu might have just done the most catching off guard thing that a Raze could have had happen, which is get instantly deleted with a headshot. And so far controlling this line of sight really well. We haven't seen the snipers come into play here, Gore, but so far I like what I'm seeing.
I like it. I feel like there's one downside, and that is that this is what I would argue is maybe the only angle you can play it. If that angle's going to work for you, that angle's going to work. It's 36% for them. It's 3 kills picked up here now. Scruncy just tries to go in and stall out a little bit. Penta don't seem to know how to handle this just yet. They don't really have anyone really to go handle it. Like, Maeve should, but this Kinessa's been playing so deep prior to this that there's no way to get to it.
All right, 87% counting here. Natus Vincere definitely turned things around, Gornell. I appreciate that. And they're not even going to give him a chance. It was a really good start to things in a Raze. He's going to find the kills, but it's just going to be too late. You could see, though, that recharge right now saving Torvald's life. Soon, once Record 2 is online, I'm not even sure if he went straight for Record 1. He might have gone for Cauterize. We can take a look at the items here if we get a chance to see where Raze's prioritization is. That's going to fade. So the Torvald, the Con, they could just be melted like butter thanks to this Vivian's opportunity and chaos, but they've got to watch out for Mutu, who seems to be one of the hardest champions to get to given the length of this map.
I mean, everything that's been going well for them, at least last map, isn't working out this time. Cruncy did wonderfully on Ashe, but he's not able to get anywhere near as far back up against them through here. And I think that's going to be probably the biggest point to watch over where Penta change up their point fight and how exactly they hold this defense, because right now, Kinessa's not going to be as impactful. Kinessa's not going to be as in this, but you still have Lazy. You still have this Leon up in your face and causing too much trouble.
Look at this, Accentra actually getting poked out a little bit. We've talked about Bazaar in so many different ways. Mutu with a nice no scope there. Maybe a quick scope, better way to define it. The man could have no scope at all, though, and still hit these shots. He's one of the best in the business at aiming in Paladins, and we all know it. Creatives here on a 13 streak, and that's such a good sign for them. Him getting the better hand of these trades against Simzy, it's going to be the defining factor in a lot of these DPS battles. So far, Natus Vincere not really feeling threatened at all on map 2.
I mean, so far, a clean push. Finally going to get stalled out here. Respawn proximity going to be in favor of Penta, but the question is how long they can hold on to it and how much it's going to matter. The signals are popped up in the air. They're looking for the damage, and they get the up down.
Big time stun there. Simzy with a couple of big kills and a Raze now able to lock and load and find some damage. He's going to stall out just a bit so Phoenix can go back to his base, stagger out the rest of Natus Vincere for what now is an extra 10 seconds. He's going to try to recharge, but again, this will not matter. If we can take a look at the items, this is a good time to do it, and let's see.
Record 1 over
Record
there for
1 started out,
Accentra.
but soon he's going to have either a COT 2 opportunity or he's going to have a Record 2 opportunity with a COT 1. I don't know, where would you go, Gore?
Honestly, at this point, Record 2. I think Vivian's strongest feat is going to be popping those bubbles first.
Right.
Maeve is the one I think that's going to need to have to focus in on the Cauterize and focus in on how to get into the backline. And not just Leon backline, the Kinessa backline they were playing in. Because Mutu has been playing safe this entire time.
Yeah.
He's dealing too much damage.
He's hiding through the gate. I love his positioning there on the high ground. He raised, though, his wrist just so much damage. And now when the shields start to pop, it's taking away all of what Natus Vincere wants to do. They have to protect the President there in a Raze, but Mutu's getting aggressive. He actually teleports into the back line, and a Raze having a 1v1 with him there. He's going to get back out, and overtime will take away in the favor of Penta, the defenders here on Bazaar. So Mutu getting going, Creatives getting going, but to no avail.
I think the difference between, I'm going to equate this to the NIP set where we got to see Torvald earlier. You got the Torvald Khan, Torvald Makoa, I'd argue both looking to be aggressive, both trying to empower.
Yeah.
And Makoa, in a lot of scenarios, is going to kind of bring the bait to you. You don't have to actually go fight as much.
Right.
Khan, you got to get out there. So a little bit more pressure, I would say, here on Lazy, who's on the Khan, which already is something that I think is going to be a big switch. I mean, a guy who plays Anara, Barrick, we've seen him on some of the other front lines, but it doesn't happen often enough that you can truly collect the stats for it. And then you have to look at Mutu. This bubble's really good for creatives. The bubble's really good at keeping Lazy alive. But
7-1,
Mutu's
man.
sitting back here, and he's waiting for this. And if Maeve can get out of this alive and get back to him, that should seal the deal.
I mean, you have to understand what he's trying to do, and now they will. I don't think they'll take the same path. They at least have eyes on Mutu. And there's the Midnight. Are they going to try a counter aggression here? The wall comes in. It's going to get a kill on Lazy. Good stuff from Excentra. And now is the Dread Serpent. Does it miss? No, not quite. Simsy's going to get taken down thanks to Spunky, but he overcommits. He doesn't know Erase is down there, and Excentra picks up another kill. Erase is down. How much damage can this front line do? Such an impact from the sub. And now Creative's going to finally get going, but Penta, they've already got 75%, 78, 81. Who's going to touch this point?
I mean, they have to be able to touch down soon. Kratos is going to be able to get into it. There's going to be an Enlightenment. Goes into the back line there. Simsy, though, does get the kill, and now they're set up.
Oh,
Without
nice.
Bolka, that honestly might cause them way more trouble.
And they're just going to back off here, but they've got Simsy in a decent position. Mutu has his sights trained on it, and he's more exposed than he's used to being. Daggers from afar, even a couple of pellets from the Stone Spear would make a big difference here, Gore, just to force Mutu into a defensive stance, buy some time for everyone to get aggressive. The shield popped there by Cruncy, and now he's going in. I like this. Up, down if you need to, just to get rid of him. He's forcing the transport, and now he can up, down to get close. He can't get the stun, though, but is this enough? I feel like it is. There's no way for Mutu to run.
I mean, that's 2 people locked down right now. You have no healing, and that's going to get him 1 kill, 2 kill. Looking for a 3rd one if they can find it. Phoenix goes down, and now you're locked. Mutu forced to come in onto the point.
Great plays from Cruncy. Honestly, I thought, up, down here, but he's right. He waited for the transport. He would have been caught by that, locked in that position, so he lets Mutu go to where he feels is safe, chases him with another shoulder bash, and then just absolutely locks him down. It was great stuff. Excentra also puts a wall up. He's been phenomenal in that round.
And that wall, not only finding Mutu, but being able to force Spunky to fall back, like, that's, I think, where that falls apart. Lazy probably stays alive a little bit longer if he still has Maldamba, at least pumping something into him. It's not going to be much longer, but he's still alive.
These are ruthless.
Pulling him away was
These
good.
are ruthless sets, Gore. I mean, if he go 2 up, you're looking at Na'Vi being out. If this game goes the way of Penta, that is just insane to think about. I already feel like this tournament is still beginning, but it's almost over for a lot of these great teams who we consider favorites. Number 2, number 3 in the entire league having troubles here. And can't say the same for number 1 NIP doing really well, obviously. Continuing to have some dominant performances, but 1:25 now, and this payload is moving for Penta.
They're looking for the way in. That's, like, again, the hardest thing to find. I actually think this corner, where I would normally argue is one of the hardest corners to break through, mainly because of, well, what you're seeing right now from Na'Vi. They're going to have a lot more difficult time with the downhill portion of this push, just because of the Kinessa. The long-range fight for Na'Vi is going to be a lot stronger. So even if you break this corner, I don't even think this is the hardest part yet. I think the hardest part is yet to come for you.
It certainly is, and they need to start getting going. And there's the Bolka Illusory Rip, just to help give everyone enough health, enough confidence to push in. Even though they know they're going to take a lot of damage, they can hopefully still stay healthy without full focus from the support. Simsy and Erase are in bad spot here. Creatives misses, and that's a double kill. Nice Enlightenment there. It's going to be 3 for Creatives. He's looking to make it a quadra kill for Creatives. Can he find himself the Penta here in the MSI tournament? It's not going to happen. He's going to just stagger it out. It's the smarter play, maybe not the more stylish play, but it'll all do.
If that illusion had actually been Bolka, 100% he goes for the Penta. The minute he realizes that they need to stagger, he holds.
Yeah.
Like, I like that moment. Like, that's like the hardest thing to do. You reined in a
It
TPS
is.
on a quadra
Oh,
kill.
yeah.
He was looking for blood, but he makes the play for the team, which I think, again, is the bigger thing. They go on, at this point, without healing. They're going to have to fight a little bit in overtime, still without Bolka ready behind them.
Big headshots. Look at this. Mutu, so clinical, but watch out. He's got to go. And he knows it, but Simsy knows where he is as well. This is such a mind game between these two. And Lazy and Phoenix going to do the dirty work after they've taken down Simsy. The one thing I will say, Simsy's approach has been an attempt. He's been definitely a pain in their side, but they've dealt with it really well. On the right side during the push, they kind of kept him over to that angle away from the team. On the last bit of aggression, Mutu was able to handle him and focus attention elsewhere where needed.
There's so many things about this that are really solid. The biggest thing I think kind of that's going to stand out for me, one is getting the recharge, because I believe he gets enough kills almost immediately following up. Like, he left this fight almost with that ult available again.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
So solid for them, but 11, 4, and 15 is awesome.
Yeah.
Kratos is playing out of his mind. Can you do that again? Like, can you do that around a point fight? Can you do that enough that that 4-kill drop isn't going to be an outlier, and it's going to be a normality. It's going to be something that the team is used to and can count on coming into this.
Oh, watch out. Cruncy's going in. He's up and down. And, oh, they get the Void for it. Potential. Actually, no, he just hits the top ropes. I think that's what happened. There's no Genos in this game. Although he did look like he stayed ascended a little too long. 30% and counting now for Penta as Simsy finds a big kill.
2 for 1 so far as it's been bouncing back and forth. With the Raise gone, that's going to make this Torvald hit a little bit harder. Luckily, he's not around for the bubbles right now.
He almost has
it. Leaves a little bit more pressure onto Simsaloo. But Penta are playing the Na'Vi game better than Na'Vi right now. They have 57%.
He missed the dash and the damage, and that's the important part. He may die here. Creatives has kind of pushed the envelope to try to finish off Simsy, but Simsy has been so hard to track, and he just gets some healing from Spunky. Oh, beautiful shot there from the Imminence. A little bit of a jump, but now Creatives is in trouble as well. A nice bubble from Torvald. He's got the damage, the movement speed, and a little bit of the shielding to buy him time and space. And Natus Vincere, they've given up a lot early, but now they're in good control of the point.
81 to 42 as of right now, just trying to hold on. Lazy, if he goes down here, I think it'd be the biggest change. He's going for Cruncy.
Oh,
he does
no!
get locked up there. Simsaloo going to be able to get the credit. And now this Mave can run a little more rampant.
Cruncy lives. I mean, that whole time he was so close. Lazy gave up his mobility, he gave up his CC, and he doesn't get the kill, and that's just unfortunate. It's just a better play from Simsy. Good defense, better offense, and 99% for Penta. They could capture here. They've got to block it off, and it will. The wall from Excentra. He's making big-time plays here. No sub-level play involved at all. And now they can push for another win.
And I'd actually love to look at the items one last time just to see Excentra specifically because, yeah, he's got the Wrecker 2 online as well. And it's something you were talking about earlier when he had gone down. Yeah. But when you look at this Inara, she has such a high impact. We always talk about like the silent damage she's able to do. Obviously very big ults that can come through. But she's popping bubbles too. She's doing just as much as Vivian.
Are you serious? Uh-oh. Oh, he almost got Spunky. He essentially 1v1 the healer. That is a trade you will take any day because you got 2 front lines. You do not have 2 healers. And so that actually helps Cruncy find a couple. Penta are in the driver's seat. They're pushing forward here. The payload is about to move. And oh boy, Cruncy sees a nice looking Kinessa, and you know what? He's just going to back off because he knows the bubble will be going for her. He's going to keep his pacing nice and steady. This is huge if they can push this in and go 2 up over Navi.
Yeah, right now, this is probably, again, one of the most dangerous games. But Mutu, he's not set up in a position to block specifically this push. He's blocking the corner push. He's not blocking downhill. So they're going to be running this one down. And so far, it's been going almost without any snags. Still moving forward.
They're going for it. They wanted Overpower here to stop it. He throws her all the way to the other side of the map. Excentra's got to walk all the way back. Are you kidding me? Penta here in a great spot. Cruncy goes down, though, and I think that'll do. They definitely took away the point take in the most dramatic fashion possible. He goes up and over, but guess what? She's back. It's not a full wipe, and maybe she's back a little earlier because Arrays and Simsaloo are still here.
They're trying to do whatever they can. Arrays is just pounding down damage, but
oh my God.
is the one picking up the
kills. This is it.
That shield's not going to last too long.
That's
Excentra's still on point.
Are you kidding me? Penta go 2 up over Na'Vi. They are 1 game away from eliminating the world champs formerly, and also one of the most impressive teams here in the entire bracket of MSI.
This is a team that just 4-0'd NIP in week 13. Like, not even a full 2 weeks ago.
It's a minor league team that did that to them.
And a minor league team is now 2 up, and they just need that one more. And, like, the thing is, yeah, Na'Vi get the next map pick. Where are you comfortable that's going to shake these guys? Again, someone that you scrim a lot, they know where you want to go when you're desperate. There's not a map, I think, that's going to feel truly safe.
I mean, you know, people saying, you know, maybe calm down a little bit. It's just game 1. Na'Vi are going to get back in here. Do we have to stay calm now? It's 2 games. It's game over if Na'Vi don't win this next one. Let's send it back to the desk, see what they have to say.
You know, I love working with you because now I get the opportunity to genuinely say, what the hell, Bobby?
I heard that so much.
Bobby, what the hell is going on
Do you know
here?
how when my username was actually Bobby? Do you know how much I just heard people that God
dang it, Bobby,
all the time.
We prepared so much analysis, and Penta just show up with their propane and propane accessories, and now we're going to
They're definitely delivering propane.
And
now these are the pros, and they are in pain.
Pain train, full steam ahead. Na'Vi lose 2 maps in a row. To the minor league European squad of Penta. Excentra, Arrays, Boca, Cruncy, Simsaloo putting their stamp on the MSI. This is it, baby. This is
Do or die
closed.
for them.
This is the red zone. This is closed territory. You are up 2 maps on Na'Vi.
First
you
and
need
goal.
to win 1 in the next 3.
It is first and goal, right? Right now?
It is first and goal for.
Or second and goal, I guess, if we're doing like a 4th down being map 5.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess.
Second and goal.
I don't sports
You're
ball,
right.
but I think that's close
You're
enough.
right.
You could really see the late game power of Penta's comp.
I mean,
think
everyone's
Penta
even or
outdrafted
negative
really hard.
on Penta's squad,
Yeah.
which is a very Na'Vi way to win a game. Might I add. This is crazy, though. An absolute stunner. This would be the biggest upset of the tournament if Penta could finish out against Na'Vi. I mean, what a performance from everyone, really, but just these little picks here back and forth, and then Vivian gets off the leash, gets a good, 15 seconds of pure DPS uptime here. This is the clip. Nobody really left to dive her. Gets a little heal, gets this full reload off, gets behind this corner, and it's just history from there
As soon as Mutu
out.
rotates out here, it was over. They needed Mutu's damage here, but he got pressured too hard from the side by the Maeve. Simsalou with fantastic positioning, basically just confirming this for them.
I
Both
mean,
DPSs were positioned so well.
Nothing you could do there. Penta, they just look like they know what they're doing, man. This is a squad. This is a unit. This is 5 guys that came prepared today against Na'Vi. I mean, this is one of the tallest tasks I think they will ever be asked to deal with. And right now they are sitting 1 game. Again, it's Na'Vi's map pick because we're going into loser's pick. But we broke it down, man. They just need 1 of the next 3, and they will move on, and Na'Vi will be knocked out of this tournament.
And they're looking like they can do it. I mean, their drafting, at least last map, was phenomenal, I felt. I mean, I was calling that they don't want a shield tank, and then immediately Penta picks Inara. Now they're forced to go a shield tank. Late game, Penta just start absolutely steamrolling.
Yeah.
I mean, they really look like they have the number. I thought it was going to be the other way. I mean, I know they've been playing a lot, but Penta, clearly, since Na'Vi came back, they figured something out back home.
What do they need to get Mutu back on? I feel like, Kinessa's... Bazaar is a new map, so I'm not going to say that Kinessa... Nothing's quite standard there yet in my book. So I'm not going to say that that's a niche pick on Bazaar, but it's not something Mutu plays a ton of. Na'Vi are not the most sniper-heavy team. Shaolin has been hit or miss, I think, for everyone. He's really nobody's first choice. This is it, man. This is do or die. Jaguar falls. What do Na'Vi go to rein this set back in?
I honestly don't know. I think maybe they want to ban one of Simsi's characters and then take a pip.
I like the Ashe ban.
Banning Ashe, I think, is a good start. It actually allows them to play some more vulnerable DPSs on this map. Because if you play like a Tyra on this map into an Ashe, it's basically asking just to get a dominance asserted on you.
You are not
So where do you force
here.
Cruncy at this point? Does he have to end up on something like a Barrack or
Cruncy's flexible.
Ruckus?
Cruncy can play almost anything, and with the Cassie picked up, actually, Ruckus is looking a little cleaner for Penta. Na'Vi might want
Definitely.
like a Bomb King or a Tyra or something to be able to deal with that a little better.
Bomb King is something they are absolutely going to need to look at. I mean, Simslow, it's going to be Bomb King or Pip, I think.
It could still be Maeve. I mean, he's been playing Maeve the other games in this set, and it's looked fantastic both times. She's such a force in this meta. She's so hard to kill. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Fantastic poke. The extra damage amp that we're seeing is kind of a theme in characters you pick in this meta. And the healing in the Prowl, too, is something to shake your head at.
This is, I like this 1-2 punch from Na'Vi. Tyra Genos is really good. I don't even know what I want for Sims at this point. No matter, it's same conversation, Pip or Bomb King, whatever Na'Vi get, I'm scared of the amount of damage amp and just Khan being the big body to put in front of that. This is tough to deal with. Now, if you want to go Ruckus as K Cruncy, it's hard to push into that amount of damage amp. It's hard to push into that amount of just sheer shred.
Look how hard you're trying.
It will be the
How
pit for
embarrassing.
Simsalou.
One thing they could
Honestly,
still
you can't go
Nando.
toe-to-toe with Hunting Party Luminary, man. You have to just squelch it with something like a Polymorph. I like this.
Yeah, it's smart. I mean, you can polymorph Tyra during her ult, so it's a good way to deal with that. You can get Khan during the shout. He'll be damage immune for a second, but you can still kind of not let him get away with as much.
The damage immune chicken.
Yeah, it's really threatening. He'll peck you to death. Can't they do that in Realm now? Can't the chickens peck now?
You might be right. I think they might have added like little 1 damage pecks. No hit scan though. Directly, it's not exactly worked. Teams have done it right. I feel like they've picked Drogos up in the right scenarios, but it still hasn't always worked because of where Penta. Ooh, is this the first Fernando of MSI?
It might be, but honestly, I think Penta's. Oh, it is. Okay. I think Penta's draft is really solid here into the Drogos because they can kind of just play inside. The Pip is.
I wasn't thinking about Fernando. I'll be honest.
No, he has the ultimate is really, really strong,
Yeah.
especially against the Dragon Punch, against any like engagements with the Tyra. If they can't throw the con target off, he can dash in and save them with the ultimate. It's going to be really massive. This is a lot of pressure on Cruncy.
The amount of counter engage Penta has for this gas pedal comp, as well as. I feel like if Penta keep this fight indoors, it does keep a lid on the Drogos. It makes it so hard for him to get involved.
Just like the Drogos from yesterday. I mean, the Drogos yesterday in the Penta Sour, I believe it was Penta Sour team set, just could not do much of anything. And I think Penta's he's going to look to repeat. Oh, it's actually Simslu that was on the Drogos there.
This is scary stuff here. If Na'Vi lose this game, they are out of the mid-season Invitational. Penta have their foot on the throat of what could be a lot of people's favorite to win the whole damn thing. Let's get it back down to the casters for what could be the final game.
Well, they have been making the run as of right now. Penta are one game away from doing it. I think they get everything they need in their arsenal to be able to accomplish this. The biggest one that is standing out to me is going to be this Fernando. The ult is really his best utility. Not something that we get to see too often, though. And that's kind of where my eyes were. Like, I still don't know how I truly feel about Fernando. But in this case, I like it, even though I think Cruncy was looking good. It makes sense for the Ash to be banned away from it.
Unbelievable stuff here. And on Jaguar Falls, can they do it? It would be an unbelievable story. I said that time Simslu reincarnated into a LAN MVP.
Oh, that's good.
He's my favorite anime right now, and he's certainly proven it. Mutu, though, he's trying to be the villain in the story and at least add a couple of other filler episodes where they try to get back the girlfriend or damsel in distress. He's doing a decent job of it thus far, but Simsy on the pit, man, there's no better combo to end a Game 3 than this.
I honestly think there are two people right now in my mind that are pip bans on Jag Falls. One's going to be Bittner, one's going to be Simsy. Simsy's just a pip ban in general, and it's just so game-changing in this. And it's moments like that where he's able to hit 2 shots. Creatives almost had no chance throughout all of that. And now you're getting aggressive. Like, again, Fernando being played very similar to the way he was before any of the nerfs, before any of the changes to Scorch. Everything is working out well so far for Penta.
All right, 90% and counting here, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit more of the same. There's a little bit of residual shock happening. A lot of these teams are obviously coming against different challenges. It's a play-in bracket. You don't know who you're facing. It's best of 5s. It's not best of 7s. But dear God, I mean, there's no way Na'Vi in their mind thought we might be going home right now.
Honestly, I think I hear screams and cheers in the background. Nemesis is very, very happy that if they're going to lose to Penta on day 1, Penta's going to go through 3-0, 3-0, 3-1. And what's looking like it might be another 3-0. I mean, 2 minutes left on this push to really determine it. And I think the defenses here for Na'Vi might be strongest, but it's getting shakier and shakier as time goes on. Mutu has to go big in this. Drogos has almost no true counters, nothing to take him out of the air. It's just all damage all the time. And with Evil Mojo's not getting kills like that, that's the chance to turn it around.
1 minute, 47 seconds left, but Simsy, Penta, and the rest of the boys are fighting valiantly to try and push this through, and they're just going to back off. You know how much time they have, Gore? A whole minute and 40 seconds. Plenty of time for Penta. Is that a through time? Wait, what just occurred? Am I just... Oh. Excuse me? What?
So, Phoenix did use the overpower.
He missed.
And then he followed?
I genuinely
I saw Inara get shot off the map. I have no idea why Phoenix fell off the map. Maybe he just slipped. The world may never know.
I honestly do not know what happened. I do not know what happened. And that is basically the description of this set for me. What is happening? Oh my God, Excentra erased Cruncy with an Immortal, keeping this team alive. The plot armor is so thick. Bolka doing everything he can to keep his front line tanky, healthy, but Mutu jumping in as Mutu should. The dragon in the skies, not afraid of the thunder down under. Excentra playing lights out for his team, but he will unfortunately go down eventually. They've still got 30 seconds left, though.
That's exactly what I was
ridiculous.
about to say. It's just, you're coming into that feels like an overtime game-ending kind of push.
Yeah.
They still have plenty of time. Like, that's like, okay, well, we used the Immortal. Maybe we popped it too soon. Maybe it didn't quite get everything we wanted, or maybe we didn't get everything out of it that we wanted. But we're still moving forward. We have 97% charged up for the Dread Server, 93 on the Scout, 80 on the Seismic Crash, 60. That will close incredibly fast there from Simsalou on this tip, and you still have 4 seconds. You're going into overtime, and there's the Dread Serpent to stop Phoenix.
Oh boy, Phoenix, he's in trouble. He's got the Battle Shout though. That'll buy some time. Dragon Punch, but can they get Mutu in return? Yes, he gets it. Simsy from the bottom to the top. However, overtime is ticking away. They bought enough time. Natus Vincere, it's a hype, exciting moment, but nothing to get too overwhelmed at. Accenture with a nice smile. And let's take a look at the most important replay of what I feel is the tournament right now. I have no idea what occurred here. Obviously, Earthengard CC immunity. Maybe he's waiting for something. He doesn't have the overpower, so it was never used. And did he get not? Oh my, it was the wall? Oh my God!
I'm sorry, what?
Accenture is already signed to 5 pro teams at this point. And I won't take any less. And he's playing for all 5 of them at the same time.
That has to be...
That has to be the greatest wall in Paladins
and the
history.
First time I've ever seen that. I didn't know that was a thing.
And also, yeah, congratulations to the replay man for catching that. That is also phenomenal. A little bit overkill, I'd say, on the Lazy, who's just got 1,500 health, guys. It's not more than that. Nice stun in the backside. Accenture's playing out of his mind. He sets up the kill on the Spunky, and he's looking to set up a kill on a Phoenix. He's already done so. Penta are honestly on a roll.
And this is so great. They're staggering out Phoenix. Mutu's not bid in this fight. It doesn't matter what damage he's getting. He's getting some good shots onto the point, but where is he? He's all the way back here. That Dragon Punch needs to charge up as fast as possible. He needs to use it. There's no Immortal, so you need it soon. But you're nowhere. You're in no position to find the damage. And so even though it was a pretty solid defense from Na'Vi, save for a little gaff there from Phoenix, I think everything is still coming up Penta.
I mean, it's just like, it's like the ultimate betrayal. I just can't get over that play. Phoenix is like, I got an easy kill here. I'm just watching you go down. I'm charging up my ultimate, getting some damage off. And Accenture says, oh, not today. You could see his eyes. If it was a movie, you'd know his eyes would pop wide open and be like, no. How could I have forgotten?
We watched it live, then we watched the replay. I could watch that replay 10 more times and still not genuinely believe that it happened in a game.
Doesn't get better.
That's just something, again, that's something Accenture just being able to exhibit that you don't get to see often, something that I don't think I've seen prior to this. I didn't know was possible on Jag Falls.
Na'Vi, dude, they're shaking in their boots right now. They're using dome shields, they're trying to stabilize, but in that same vein, you could tell the pressure is on. They're playing so cool. This is not a team that should be taken lightly. Do not think Na'Vi didn't show up today. Consider Penta as a true potential candidate to win this entire tournament from the minor league. These are guys that have been there, done that, and they are proving it today that they should not be underestimated in the slightest. Take a look at the KDAs if we can as well, just to see how everyone's been performing. We talked about Accenture. Obviously, he has an amazing play come through with the wall, and we don't quite know what those KDAs are yet. We'll see them in a second, but Spunky finally taking down Simsalou. Really important stall there for the push.
I mean, just being able to set this up, this is a good position. Everyone's a little low, though. Boca has his work cut out for him. Shooting your teammates isn't going to help, but he's going for the reload. Ready for a stun if need be. They still have 40 seconds. This time, though, they are a much further distance from converting this than they were last time around. This is one of those Jag Falls. This might go 3-3. It might end up being 3-1, just depending if they can get rid of that pesky dragon right now, or if he's going to continue getting that damage for free.
Phoenix has to throw the shield down, doesn't want to lose it here. Battle Shout as well for the squad, and Lazy going to support. You can imagine he's maybe setting up for a dome shield soon, but the Immortal's going to make him feel comfortable. Accenture with a double. It's not all of them, and the shield comes up. Firebomb looking to buy some time for Na'Vi. Creative's in trouble, but not too worried. Simsalou with a nice self-heal. Moxie will do the deed, and a nice shot there. Mutu will seal that deed, put it in an envelope, and send it back home where it came from.
He needs this. I think that's actually the biggest thing. Mutu needs those trades.
He's doing well.
But the problem is like he's getting them on the defense when Simsy's already retreating, or when Simsy's in a position where he's vulnerable. Like, you need to find him in the important moments, in those clutch moments. But the point fight, not only last time was he pushed out so far that he couldn't truly impact anything, but the biggest thing is they're playing undercover. They recognize where this Drogoz isn't going to be able to hit, and Penta are abusing that fact as much as they can in the side rooms.
It was a really good attempt, and you can tell Penta are wanting to finish this. They know they've got Natus Vincere in a very peculiar situation, about to lose any major tournament, and that is something Natus Vincere are not very accustomed to unless they get to the finals. And so Penta do not want to waste this opportunity, and would you? I mean, I'd go for it. There's absolutely nothing to do. Playing with house money couldn't be more appropriate here. They've still got to lose 3 games in a row if they want to be out of it here. They've set themselves up for a great spot. Spunky misses. Simzy gets the trade. You got to say that is just so horrible for Na'Vi. A beautiful Dread Serpent as well, Gore, and it's going to get all members except Creatives.
And right now it's looking like one more kill. Simzy on the side, going to clean that one up, get some healing done as well. And I'm going to throw it out there. Na'Vi had the ult advantage in that fight. They used 3 of the 5. They still have a dome shield, so as long as they can get Lazy back, if they can get Lazy back, they should be able to stall out. That's a pretty heavy if right now. It's looking 87%
I don't think they
rising.
can touch. I don't think they can. Accenture with a wall. It's done. That's it. Crunzy with a great zone. All they can do is try to wipe Penta now to give themselves the best foothold on defense as possible. Try to get one of those offensive zones. Ultimates could be used, but now it's risky. If you use them now, it doesn't pan out. You don't have them for the defense, which could cost you the game. And so Na'Vi is going to feign aggression as much as they can and then try to capitalize off of the little bits of room that they've got.
And this is what they need to do. Not only get the wipe, but then push as far forward as you can. It doesn't matter if you lose. If you're outside of Penta's base, you can wipe right up here and still have plenty of time to respawn and push the defense before they even hit 50% on that push. So go for this full press defense. Get as far forward as you can if you're Na'Vi, and find some kills. Find as many as you physically can before going down.
Uju's in trouble, and they're forced to crossfire. That's not enough of an ultimate to really change the tide here. It's going to force Phoenix out into an aggressive situation. He'll trade his life, and that's the con. That's the front line, and now Accenture will get 2. Accenture finding a double. He's done so well for this team. So many highlight moments, and that's a really good Immortal. They're going to keep Bolka alive. They just want the momentum. Accenture yet again with another one. Accenture looking for it. The wall won't save him this time, but Mutu surely will fall thanks to a crossbow bolt from Arrays.
Now, a minute 20 on the clock. Plenty of time to push this in. Plenty of time for Accenture to respawn, regroup, take control, and then you start seeing what I will say is maybe a fully fleshed Penta kind of spread out, go for their offensive line. What exactly they want. Simzaloo on the side, and where exactly Cruncy will end up is, I think, the biggest question.
He overpowers the conversation as well. Lazy's going to go. A double kill. Accenture looking to keep going. He's trying to find 3. This Inara will win the 1v1 if he can just find Creatives and keep them in the sight line. A wall to block off any other aggression. Accenture finds another. 48 seconds left, and Natus Vincere have maybe one more chance to try to hold because momentum is on the side of Penta.
1 chance in 40 seconds is all they have standing between them and getting knocked out. The number 2 team from the PPL. And you're looking at Simzy making a huge impact. Dragon Punch is flying through, but it's not finding anyone. Arrays finally does go down.
And Mutu is still alive. That is huge. That's so much damage. If they just kill the dragon, maybe things will change. But right now, that is too good of a sign, too good of a trade. It's a 1 for nothing, and now it turns into a 2 and a 3. So they'll back off, but not too far. Cruncy, no ultimate available, no bailout cards here. They may just settle down and say, let's do it on the next point fight. We've won 3 in a row. Why not? Nobody can get too cautious here, though, Gore.
I mean, that's one of the most dangerous games, though. I can't count how many times we've seen a team win point 1, win point 2, and point 3. They make it this 3-3, and then they lose. This is where it could potentially crumble down. It's maybe a more vicious defeat if you make it this far in this much control as Penta if you lose right here, but they don't seem like they're taking anything really too hard right now. They're still trying to figure it out. And again, ult advantage, I believe, still towards Na'Vi, but it's so close. Everyone was throwing pretty much everything out. And it's the kind of play you get. It gets almost frantic because of how well you know each other.
From the fist trembling. And what he says was discomfort, but what we all know is anime strength about to boon all the way from every aspect of his body, releasing through all of his pores. He is going Super Saiyan, Super Simzy, and he is trying his best to seal the deal, which would be one of the most momentous land wins in Paladins history. A minor league team taking down a world champ, a number 2 seed here in this tournament, just behind NIP. Oh my God. So far, so good on the point.
I mean, they've got the control, 21-15. It's no distinct advantage. Mortal going to come through. Nothing can save these front lines, and that's going to be Lazy off the board first.
That's big time for Excentra. Zimzy finds another one. Can they do it? The Dread Serpent is here, and it's just to secure it. Polka. Oh, my. Or I don't know. This is too tense if they can get back, but I'm not sure they can. Are you telling me that Penta are about to zone and take down Natus Vincere? It looks like it should happen. And if it does, I'm still in shock.
I mean, it's dismounts galore right now. It's 96%.
It's gonna happen.
They're gonna do it.
It did happen. Penta, the minor league team, take down Natus Vincere, and they punch their ticket into the next round of the MSI for Paladins. What a story. This anime gets better and better, and there's the main character right there.
I mean, you're running a dangerous game now if you're anyone who stands in the way of Penta. Think Envy as well as Virtus Pro. No matter who wins this next set, both of them better have been watching, because whoever they wins has probably, I would argue, the toughest opponent now coming into this. Penta doing that to Na'Vi is not something we've seen a lot of teams do. In fact, 3-0 is never a scoreline I think I've ever seen Na'Vi sitting on the other side of, so it's going to be uncomfortable, not only for them, but a really good day here for Penta.
Disbelief. And it's bittersweet for members across the world who watch Paladins. Honestly, there's just so much to unpack here, because you've got fans who have followed this team for years now, and these players, and they just don't get it done in a best of 5. It's Penta with not a 3-2 or 3-1, it's a 3-0 over what many consider would be the favorite to win this tournament. I know the desk said that they're physically ready, but emotionally they aren't. But guys, do your best to break down what just happened.
Am I reading this right?
You might be.
3-0.
You know,
I'll be damned.
that was a very, very, very crazy set. That was, I think, such a strong showing mentally by Penta.
Bobby, what the hell, Bobby?
I told you, they're bringing the pro pain.
Oh, my.
They knew what they were doing. The drafts, I think, throughout the entire set
healing.
were phenomenal, especially this one. 185K healing.
Even 24K from Sims, like, that's big pip
That is big
numbers,
for
too.
Pip. Yeah.
That's big number.
That's like 20 full potions.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness gracious, there's a lot of damage on, you know, they're kind of dead even in terms of damage on Penta. Na'Vi's, it's like Penta is telling Na'Vi's story. They're going even or negative. They're not out damaging. They're not out fragging. They're just out Paladinsing their opponents.
They out Na'Vi'd Na'Vi. I mean, look, if you look at the damage on Na'Vi, Na'Vi had more damage, but because
in a lot of ways,
their comp couldn't chase. They didn't have the aggressive comp. The most they could do is what, like lazy dash in and dome shield in their face? They tried it once. It wasn't enough. They always had the out to get healed. And Excentra really, I mean,
he did, dude.
Ovim who? No, Ovim's so fantastic, but Excentra really put his foot down.
He did it. We asked this question, can Excentra fill Ovim's shoes for this Penta squad? And this play, like, he is just walking Na'Vi down. This, you could tell me this is an Ovim replay, and I would believe you. He has done his man proud. He played Inara, he ran it down mid, and he played the Stone Warden the right way. These were big shots as well, hitting that whole burst on creatives, capitalizing on those kills. This confident push around the corner, hitting these big shots on Lazy. Those are critical, critical moments. And Excentra absolutely stepped up.
He played when the pressure was on with a roster that he hadn't played with in a while, but still his main role, people he knew, he filled perfectly. And he's going to continue to fill, which some people did not expect was going to be the case.
My heart, man. I mean, we were walking through. A lot of teams are sitting around. We got some console boys. Everybody whose games are coming up next is just watching this.
Time stopped.
It is. It's time stopped. We're all just watching this happen with mouths agape and just cannot believe. It's one of those things you just never believe it's real. You never believe it can happen to you until it does. The minor league team take down the second seed overall in this tournament and in the Premier League. We set this up to be, look at what Penta did to this playing bracket. Now look at what Navi's about to, I mean, throw it all out the window. Penta take 3 in a row over Na'Vi. I almost want to interview Na'Vi more to see what they're thinking, where their head's at this moment, because this was an
This is supposed to be a happy day, Nick.
for the ages, my friend.
It's supposed to be a happy day, Nick. I don't know if that would be a happy day kind of interview.
Well,
but still, yeah.
I mean, get these boys in the PPL.
Yeah.
Sheesh. I don't know how else can you slice it after a performance like that, and the biggest day of their careers. It's these best of 5 sets, but I don't really know, man. They lost control of that one early, and they never got it back. What a phenomenal performance. Let's get it down to a post-game interview with Penta to hear their thoughts.
Well, I think I might still be in a similar spot as you guys, trying to piece my brain together after a really, really surprising, I think for everyone involved, 3-0. You guys seem very happy. Congratulations on doing that. And I just want to ask, we've mentioned Excentra in the past, coming in, playing for Ovum here. But that last game, his impact was felt, I think, throughout every single moment. What is it like, I guess, having like a sub come in and play like this?
Really surprising, to be honest. We knew his center was really good, but today against Navi, I think that was probably his best set he ever played.
He did very well, but he's also had synergy with Crunchy and Bolka before in the team on LAN, so that's mainly why it was so easy for him, I think, to fill the spot from Ovum at this LAN.
I mean, you have to understand the building's energy changed dramatically during this, because people started to realize that things aren't the way they think. People have assumed you coming from the PML are an underdog, but right now you guys played like the dominant seed, the #1 seed. This is NIP stuff that we're looking at. So what is this about? Is this something you have always believed? You seem very confident, Raze, in your guys' ability to take this whole tournament.
Definitely. I think like just from the scrims we have been playing, we're very confident. We know that we can do better, and maybe the people that don't scrim against us, they don't know how good we are, but I think we can definitely match the top teams, especially also from the scrim results and stuff. So I wasn't really too scared, but obviously respect them. But we just played our game, and that's what we're gonna keep on doing.
So Simsy, before the game, you had said that the biggest thing was going to be you versus Creatives. Like whoever did better and whoever won that matchup would take the game. And when it came down to it, there were so many moments like we would flip to your camera and no one was looking at you. You were completely free. There's a point you even just came through and got a quadra kill like it was nothing. What was going on through all 3 of those maps that just left you so wide open?
It was just, I think, like, without being disrespectful, I definitely think Navi can agree with us too that they were underperforming today. I think the whole match that came down to Kratos and me just finding ourselves out, like our minds out, because we both have like a similar way where if we get that space, as soon as we get that space that we can control and just do whatever we want, we pop off. But I wasn't contested much. I felt like they were focusing too much on Crunchy. I felt like they focused too much on the Raze. And when they focused on them, I was just walking in for free.
It's pretty amazing. This is kind of a once in a lifetime situation for Paladins, where a team from the minor league is able to beat a PPL team. And not just that, a great PPL team, a world championship team. What does that mean for the PML? What do you have words about that league system and just the impact that it can have across all of the regions in Paladins?
You want to take it?
No, you take it.
All right, the talker here. I think the PML league should be more respected now, definitely, for sure. But I definitely think, again, like I said, today we just happen to be performing better than Navi, but you can have that off day. And any team can have that off day that makes them lose and drop games that they shouldn't, lose, and overall, like, just throw unintentionally. But I think right now, as it is in PML, there's going to be a lot of spicy things coming out from there.
A lot of spicy things indeed. It cannot be repeated enough. Guys, congratulations on an epic win. We cannot wait to follow the continued anime plot as it thickens throughout the tournament. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the last set of the day.